You are listening to HOA Mess. I wish this was exaggerated. I am standing in my driveway in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, watching a tow truck back up toward my guest's car, and the driver has not said a word to me. The woman next to him, Evelyn Lewis, vice chair of the Briarstone Community Association Design Review Board, is pointing at the windshield like she is directing a heist. I moved here 6 months ago for work, apartment maintenance supervisor, and I thought I had left the worst complaints behind. I was wrong. This HOA is the kind where deadlines change depending on who is being targeted, and right now, that person is me. Evelyn turns to me, her voice sharp. You did not display the guest decal. That is a violation. I look at the car. There is a guest pass on the dashboard, plainly visible. I point at it. That is the pass. She shakes her head. Not the right color. The new passes are blue. This one is yellow. Nobody told me they changed. She smiles. Ignorance is not an excuse. The tow driver climbs out, clipboard in hand, and I realize he is not here to ask questions. He is here to hook the car and leave. I step between him and the vehicle. Hold on. When did the rule change? Evelyn pulls a folded paper from her pocket. 2 weeks ago. We sent an email. I check my phone right there. No email. She shrugs. Not my problem. The driver looks at me, then at her, and I can see he is used to this. He has done this before. I ask him, "Do you have authorization in writing?" He taps the clipboard. She sent it this morning. I look at Evelyn. This morning. For a car that has been parked here since yesterday. She crosses her arms. You think this is petty? I think this is my purpose. I pull out my phone and start recording. The driver sees the light and steps back. I am not getting in the middle of this. Evelyn waves him forward. You have my authorization. That is all you need. The driver shakes his head. I need the homeowner to acknowledge, or I need a board signature. She is not on the board enforcement committee. He gets back in the truck and pulls forward, off my driveway. Evelyn spins on me, her face red. You just cost me a tow fee. I smile. Good. She leans in close. I can fine you daily until you give up and you cry. Then she turns and walks toward the mailbox cluster at the end of the block, her megaphone swinging from her shoulder strap. I stand there watching the tow truck roll away, and I know this is not over. This is the opening move. I have been in this job long enough to recognize a pattern. She is not enforcing rules. She is targeting me. I go inside and check my email again. Nothing from the HOA. I dig through my spam folder. Nothing. I log into the Briarstone resident portal. There is a notice dated 2 weeks ago, posted at 11 at night, about new guest decals. No email reminder. No physical notice. Just a late-night post buried in a portal most people never check. I screenshot it. Then I scroll through the comments. 3 other residents are asking where to get the new decals. No response from Evelyn or anyone on the board. I screenshot those too. My phone buzzes. A text from my neighbor Marcus, who sits on the landscaping committee. He saw the tow truck. You okay? I text back. For now. He replies, she has been doing this to 4 people this month. Always guest parking. Always no warning. I ask him, do you have proof? He sends me a link to the HOA group chat, a private thread I was never added to. I open it and start reading. Evelyn is in there. coordinating with 2 other board members, discussing which driveways to target next. My address is on the list. I screenshot everything. The next morning, I get a notice on my door. It is a sticker, the kind that leaves residue when you peel it off. Violation notice in bold letters. Unauthorized guest parking. Fine, $50 per day until resolved. I check the date. It is backdated to yesterday, the day the tow truck showed up. So she is fining me for the same incident she already tried to tow for. I take a photo of the sticker, then I peel it off carefully and put it in a plastic sleeve. I am building a file. I go to the Briarstone office, a small building near the community pool. The manager, Dana, is at the desk. I show her the sticker. When did this rule start? She looks uncomfortable. The board voted on it last month. Guest parking is limited to 72 hours with a valid decal. I nod, and the decal change. She pulls up her computer. That was 2 weeks ago. Did you get the email? I shake my head. She frowns. I will check the distribution list. She types for a minute, then stops. You are not on it. I lean forward. Why not? She clicks through a few more screens. It looks like someone removed you. When? She checks. 3 weeks ago. I ask her who has access to the distribution list. She hesitates. Board members and committee chairs. I thank her and leave. I know exactly who removed me. Evelyn runs the design review board, and she has access to everything. She scrubbed me from the email list, then changed the rule, then sent a tow truck. It is not enforcement. It is a setup. That night, I get another text from Marcus. Meeting tomorrow. 6 p.m. Community Center. Evelyn is pushing a new parking proposal. You should come. I tell him I will be there. Then I sit down and organize my screenshots. I have the group chat. I have the email distribution proof. I have the backdated sticker. I have the tow driver refusing to act without proper authorization. I have the timeline. I keep my plan quiet, because the HOA depends on controlling the narrative. If I show my hand too early, they will bury it. So I wait. The next evening, I walk into the community center. About 30 people are there, most of them looking bored. Evelyn is at the front table with 2 other board members, her megaphone sitting next to a stack of papers. She sees me and her smile fades. The meeting starts. The president, a man named Greg, runs through the usual business. Budget updates. Landscaping bids. Then Evelyn stands up. She clears her throat. We have a problem with guest parking. People are abusing the 72-hour rule. We need stricter enforcement. Someone in the back asks what that means. Evelyn picks up her megaphone, even though the room is quiet, and her voice booms. It means we tow on site if the decal is wrong. No warnings, no grace period. A woman near the front raises her hand. What if we did not get the new decals yet? Evelyn waves her off. You had 2 weeks. That is plenty of time. The woman looks frustrated. I did not get an email. Evelyn smiles. Then you should check the portal more often. Marcus stands up. He is calm, but his voice carries. I checked the portal. The notice was posted at 11 p.m. on a weeknight. Most people do not log in at that hour. Evelyn shrugs. That is not my fault. Greg, the president, shifts in his seat. Maybe we should extend the grace period. Evelyn cuts him off. No. We already extended it once. People need to follow the rules. I raise my hand. Evelyn glares at me but nods. I stand. I did not get the email because someone removed me from the distribution list 3 weeks ago. The room goes quiet. Evelyn narrows her eyes. That is a technical issue. Take it up with the manager. I pull out my phone. I already did. Dana confirmed I was removed manually. By someone with board access. Evelyn crosses her arms. Are you accusing me of something? I smile. I am just stating facts. You have board access. I was removed. Then you changed the rule. Then you sent a tow truck to my house without warning. She steps closer, her voice rising. You violated the parking policy. I did my job. I hold up my phone. The tow driver refused to tow because you did not have proper authorization. She freezes. Her mouth opens, then closes. Someone in the audience laughs. Evelyn spins toward the sound, her face red. This is not funny. Another person in the back mutters, it kind of is. Greg taps the table. Let us stay on topic. Evelyn, do you have documentation for the tow authorization? She fumbles with her papers. I sent an email to the vendor. That is all they need. I shake my head. The driver said he needed a board signature or homeowner acknowledgement. You are not on the enforcement committee. So you did not have authority. Evelyn slams her hand on the table. I am vice chair of design review. I have authority over compliance issues. Greg clears his throat. Actually, design review handles aesthetics. Parking enforcement is a separate committee. Evelyn stares at him. Since when? He flips through a binder. Since the bylaws were updated last year. You were at that meeting. The room erupts. People are talking over each other. Someone yells, so she has been sending tow trucks without authority? Another voice says, how many people has she done this to? Greg bangs a gavel. Everyone calm down. Evelyn, we need to table this proposal until we review the enforcement procedures. Evelyn grabs her megaphone. You are all making a huge mistake. This neighborhood is falling apart because nobody respects the rules. A man near the front stands. The rules are fine. The problem is you enforcing them like a tyrant. Evelyn points the megaphone at him. You want to see tyranny? I will show you tyranny. I confine you daily until you give up and you cry. The room goes silent. Someone in the back whispers, did she just threaten him? Greg stands. Evelyn, sit down. Now. She does not move. Her hands are shaking. I look around the room and I see it. She has lost them. People are staring at her like she is unhinged. Marcus catches my eye and nods. This is the moment. I clear my throat. I have something else. Evelyn whips around. What? I pull up the group chat screenshots on my phone. I forward them to Greg's email right there. Check your inbox. I just sent you screenshots of the HOA group chat where Evelyn and 2 other board members coordinated a targeted enforcement wave against 4 homeowners, including me. The list includes our addresses and notes about which violations to prioritize. Greg opens his laptop. His face goes pale. Evelyn steps toward me. That chat is private. You are not supposed to have access. I smile. Marcus forwarded it to me. He is on the landscaping committee. He has access. She turns to Marcus. You are off the committee. Marcus laughs. You do not have that authority either. Greg looks up from his laptop. This is bad. Evelyn, you have been discussing enforcement actions in a private chat without board oversight. That is a violation of our open meeting rules. She throws her hands up. We were just coordinating. Greg shakes his head. Coordination is fine. Targeting specific homeowners is not. I am suspending all enforcement actions pending a full review. Evelyn grabs her megaphone and storms toward the door. You are all going to regret this. She slams the door behind her. The room sits in stunned silence for a moment. Then someone starts clapping. It spreads. Greg bangs the gavel again. Meeting adjourned. People file out, and several of them stop to thank me. One woman says, she tried to tow my son's car last month. I paid $300 to get it out of the impound lot. I ask her, do you have the receipt? She nods. I tell her to send it to Greg. He is going to need it. The next morning I get a letter in my mailbox. It is from a law office, a small claims filing. Evelyn is suing me for defamation and interference with HOA business. The amount is under $5,000, just low enough to avoid needing a real lawyer, but high enough to be a pain. I read through it. The claims are frivolous. She says I lied about the tow truck incident, that I disrupted the meeting, that I stole private HOA communications. It is a nuisance suit, meant to force me into court and waste time. I take a photo of it and add it to my file. I call Marcus. She filed a small claim suit against me. He curses. That is her move. She did it to another guy last year. He spent 6 months fighting it and she dropped it the day before trial. I ask him, what did he do? He says he gave up and moved. I tell Marcus, I am not moving. He laughs. Good, because I have something for you. He texts me a PDF. It is a signed affidavit from the tow driver. He states that Evelyn called him directly, told him to tow my guest's car, and admitted she did not have board authorization. He refused the job. The affidavit is dated yesterday. Marcus says he was tired of her calling him for sketchy tows. He wanted it on record. I thank Marcus and save the PDF. Then I get another text, this time from Dana, the HOA manager. Can you come by the office? I drive over. She is sitting at her desk with a thick folder. She looks exhausted. I found something. She opens the folder and shows me a stack of tow receipts. Evelyn has been authorizing tows for 6 months. Every single one went to the same impound lot. Every single one has a kickback invoice attached. The lot was paying her $25 per tow. My jaw drops. That is illegal. Dana nods. It is fraud. I already called the management company. They are sending their attorney. I ask her, why are you telling me this? She sighs. Because you are going to need it. Evelyn is not going to stop. She is escalating. And you are the only one who has been pushing back hard enough to make her nervous. I thank her and leave. I sit in my car and think. I have the group chat. I have the tow driver affidavit. I have the kickback receipts. I have the small claims filing. I have everything I need. But I am not ready to use it yet. I need one more piece. The trump card. That afternoon, I get a call from a number I do not recognize. I answer. A woman's voice says, "This is the tow yard. You have a vehicle here." I freeze. I do not have a vehicle there. She gives me the license plate. It is my guest's car, the one the driver refused to tow 3 days ago. I ask her, How did it get there? She says, picked up this morning. Authorization from the HOA. I ask her, who signed the authorization? She reads me a name. Evelyn Lewis. Design Review Vice Chair. I hang up and call the police non-emergency line. I explain the situation. The officer asks me, do you have proof the tow was unauthorized? I tell him yes. He says, bring it to the station. I will file a report. I grab my folder and drive to the station. I meet with the officer. I show him the screenshots, the affidavit, the group chat, the kickback receipts. He takes notes. Then he asks, do you have anything showing she falsified the authorization? I pause. I do not. Not yet. He nods. Get me that, and I can escalate this to fraud. Otherwise, it is a civil issue. I leave the station and drive to the tow yard. It is a grim lot surrounded by chain-link fence, rows of cars baking in the sun. I walk into the office. The woman at the counter looks annoyed. Cash only. Fees are $250 plus $50 per day storage. I do the math. My guest's car has been here less than 12 hours. That is $300. I do not have that kind of cash on me. She shrugs. Then the fee goes up tomorrow. I ask her, can I see the authorization? She slides a piece of paper across the counter. It is a printed email. From Evelyn, addressed to the tow yard manager. It says the vehicle is abandoned and the owner cannot be reached. The timestamp says 6 a.m. this morning. I take a photo of it, then I check my phone. I have a text from my guest, sent at 7:30 a.m., saying her car is missing. I show the clerk. The car was not abandoned. The owner reported it stolen 90 minutes after this email was sent. The clerk shrugs. Take it up with the HOA. I ask her, do you validate these authorizations? She laughs. Honey, we get paid either way. I leave the yard and sit in my car. The timeline does not add up. Evelyn sent the authorization at 6 a.m. My guest reported the car missing at 7:30. That means Evelyn had the car towed in the middle of the night or very early morning, before my guest even woke up. I call the tow yard back. I ask the clerk, what time was the car picked up? She checks. 4:45 a.m. I hang up. Evelyn had the car towed at 4:45 in the morning. That is not enforcement. That is theft. I call my guest. She is frantic. I need that car. I have a home health aide arriving this afternoon, and I am supposed to pick her up. I tell her I am working on it. Then I call Marcus. I need the HOA attorney's contact info. He sends it. I call the attorney, a man named Richard. I explain the situation. He listens, then says, that is outside my scope. I represent the association, not individual board members. I ask him, even if the board member is committing fraud. He pauses. Send me what you have. I will review it. I email him everything, the screenshots, the affidavit, the kickback receipts, the tow authorization with the 4:45 a.m. timestamp, the small claims filing. 20 minutes later, he calls me back. This is bad. I am advising the board to suspend Evelyn immediately and refer this to law enforcement. I ask him, what about my guest's car? He says, I will contact the tow yard and tell them to release it. They will argue, but if I threaten to report them for accepting fraudulent authorizations, they will fold. I thank him and hang up. An hour later, I get a call from the tow yard. The car is released. No fee. I drive my guest over to pick it up. She is in tears. Thank you. I do not know what I would have done. I tell her it is not over yet. But we are getting there. That night, I get an email from Richard, the HOA attorney. The board held an emergency session. Evelyn has been suspended pending investigation. All enforcement actions she authorized are void. Refunds will be processed within 30 days. I forward the email to the 4 other homeowners who were targeted. They all reply with relief. But I know Evelyn is not done. 2 days later, I see her at the mailbox cluster. She is setting up a folding table with flyers. A small crowd is gathering. I walk over. She sees me and her face hardens. She picks up her megaphone. Attention, neighbors. I want to talk about the recent smear campaign against me. People stop and listen. She continues, I have been enforcing the rules fairly, and one resident has been spreading lies to protect his own violations. She points at me. He hacked into private HOA communications and leaked them to undermine my authority. I step forward. I did not hack anything. Marcus, who sits on the landscaping committee, forwarded me the group chat because I am a homeowner and I have a right to know when the board is targeting me. Evelyn shakes her head. That chat was private. Marcus had no right to share it. Marcus walks up. Actually, I did. The chat is hosted on the HOA portal. Any committee member can see it. You never marked it private. Evelyn's face goes red. That is a technicality. Marcus shrugs. The law does not care. A woman in the crowd raises her hand. I want to know about the kickback receipts. Evelyn freezes. What receipts? The woman holds up her phone. Dana emailed them to the whole board. You were taking money from the tow yard. Evelyn stammers. That is a lie. I never took a dime. Another man in the crowd says, then why did the management company's attorney suspend you? Evelyn points at me again. Because he manufactured evidence. I stepped forward. I did not manufacture anything. The receipts came from the tow yard's own records. Dana requested them as part of an audit. Evelyn is shaking now. You are all believing him over me. I have been on this board for 8 years. I have given my time, my energy, my expertise, and this is how you repay me? Someone in the back yells by holding you accountable? Yeah. The crowd laughs. Evelyn grabs her megaphone and screams into it. You think this is petty, I think this is my purpose. The feedback screeches. People cover their ears. Someone shouts, turn that thing off. Evelyn lowers the megaphone, her hands trembling. Then she starts reading from a piece of paper. I have a complaint here from a resident. She looks around. Who wants to sign it? It says this man has been harassing board members and disrupting meetings. The crowd is silent. She tries again. Anyone? A man near the front says, I am not signing that. Another woman says, me neither. Evelyn's voice cracks. You are all cowards. She folds the paper and shoves it in her pocket. Then she picks up her table and storms off. The crowd disperses. Marcus walks up to me. That was brutal. I nod, but it is not over. That night I get another envelope in my mailbox. It is a tow yard receipt, the same receipt I already have. But this one has a handwritten note attached. This is what happens when you cross me. The handwriting is shaky, but I recognize it from the meeting sign-in sheets. It is Evelyn's. I take a photo and add it to my file. The receipts keep showing up. One every night, for 3 nights in a row. Always the same receipt. Always a new threatening note. Marcus tells me she is losing it. I tell him I know. But I am waiting for the right moment. The board schedules a hearing. They want to review Evelyn's suspension and decide whether to make it permanent. The hearing is set for next week. I get a formal notice in the mail. I am invited to testify. So are the other 4 homeowners who were targeted. So is Dana. So is the tow driver. Evelyn gets a notice too. She has the right to defend herself. I spend the week organizing my evidence into a binder, timeline, screenshots, affidavits, receipts, photos. I print everything and put it in sheet protectors. I label each section. I rehearse what I am going to say. The day of the hearing, I arrive early. The meeting is in the community center again, but this time the room is packed, at least 50 people. The board sits at the front table. Greg, the president, is there. So are 3 other board members I do not recognize. Evelyn sits off to the side with a lawyer, a young man in a cheap suit who looks nervous. I sit in the front row. Marcus sits next to me. The hearing starts. Greg reads a statement. We are here to determine whether Evelyn Lewis violated HOA bylaws and state law in her enforcement activities. Evelyn, you have the right to speak first. Evelyn stands. She does not use the megaphone this time. Her voice is calm, controlled. I have served this association for 8 years. I have volunteered countless hours. I have enforced the rules fairly and without bias. The recent allegations against me are false. They are based on doctored screenshots and hearsay. I have never taken money from a tow yard. I have never targeted anyone. I have simply done my job. She sits down. The room is quiet. Then Greg calls the first witness, Dana. Dana stands and walks to the front. She is sworn in. Greg asks her about the kickback receipts. Dana pulls out a folder. These are invoices from the tow yard, provided to me during an audit. Each invoice lists a payment to Evelyn Lewis for referral fees. $25 per tow. Over 6 months, she received approximately $2,000. Evelyn's lawyer jumps up. Objection. Those invoices are not verified. Greg waves him down. This is not a court. Sit. Dana continues. I contacted the tow yard manager. He confirmed the payments. He also said Evelyn told him it was standard practice. Evelyn stands. That is a lie. I never said that. Dana looks at her. I have a recorded phone call. Would you like me to play it? Evelyn sits down. Her lawyer whispers something to her. Greg calls the next witness, the tow driver. He walks up, a big guy in a stained shirt. He is sworn in. Greg asks him about the 4:45 a.m. tow. The driver nods. She called me at 4:30, said it was an emergency. Abandoned vehicle blocking a fire lane. I get there. The car is in a driveway, nowhere near a fire lane. I call her back. She says tow it anyway. I ask for board authorization. She says she is the vice chair, that is enough. I did the job. Later, I found out she did not have authority. I felt bad. That is why I signed the affidavit. Greg thanks him and calls the next witness, me. I walk to the front. I am sworn in. Greg asks me to describe what happened. I start with the timeline, the email distribution list, the rule change, the tow truck showing up without warning, the backdated sticker, the small claim suit. The 4:45 a.m. Tau. The threatening notes. I speak clearly, calmly. I reference my binder. I show the screenshots on the projector. The room is silent. When I finish, Greg asks, "Do you have anything else?" I nod. I pull out my phone. I have one more thing. I open a file. It is a screenshot of a text message conversation between Evelyn and the tow yard manager. In the conversation, Evelyn instructs the manager to change the timestamp on a photo of my guest's car to make it look like the car was there for more than 72 hours. The manager refuses. Evelyn threatens to take her business elsewhere. The manager agrees. The timestamp is changed. The photo is attached to the tow authorization. I project the screenshot on the wall. The room erupts. People are yelling. Greg bangs the gavel. Silence. If you are enjoying this story, hit like and subscribe for more wild HOA nightmares. Evelyn's lawyer stands. "Where did you get that?" I smile. The tow yard manager sent it to me. He was tired of being used. He wanted to cover himself legally. Evelyn is on her feet. "That is fabricated. I never sent that text." I pull out a second phone. This one belongs to the tow yard manager. He lent it to me this morning. The text is still on his phone. I can show you. Greg holds out his hand. "Give me the phone." I hand it over. He scrolls through the messages. His face goes dark. This is real. Evelyn is shaking. She turns to her lawyer. "Say something." He is frozen. Greg looks at Evelyn. "You instructed a vendor to falsify evidence. That is fraud." Evelyn's voice cracks. "I was trying to enforce the rules." Greg shakes his head. "You were breaking the law. I am terminating this hearing. The board will vote tonight to remove you permanently and refer this matter to the district attorney." Evelyn grabs her bag and runs out of the room. Her lawyer follows. The room sits in stunned silence. Then someone starts clapping. It spreads. Greg bangs the gavel. Meeting adjourned. I walk outside. Marcus is waiting. "You did it." I shake my head. "Not yet. I still have the small claims suit." He grins. "Check your email." I pull out my phone. There is a message from Evelyn's lawyer. The suit has been dismissed. Voluntarily. I laugh. She knew she was going to lose. Marcus claps me on the back. Drinks are on me. I tell him maybe later. I have one more thing to do. The next morning, I drive to the police station. The same officer I met before is at the desk. I hand him a USB drive. Everything is on there. The screenshots, the affidavits, the kickback receipts, the falsified timestamp, the threatening notes, the 4:45 a.m. tow. He plugs it into his computer and starts scrolling. After a few minutes, he looks up. "This is solid. I am forwarding it to the fraud unit. They will contact you." I thank him and leave. 2 weeks later, I get a letter from the Briarstone Community Association. It is a formal settlement offer. All fines are voided. All tow fees are refunded. Evelyn is permanently removed from the board and banned from holding any HOA position. A no-contact directive is issued. Any retaliatory enforcement action will result in penalties up to $10,000. The board apologizes for the conduct of its former vice chair. I sign it and send it back. The following month, I get a check in the mail. $300. Refund for the tow yard fees. I also get a letter from the management company. Evelyn has been reported to the state regulatory board for her actions. The tow yard has been dropped as a vendor. A new parking enforcement policy has been implemented with oversight and appeals. I filed the letter with the rest of my documentation. A week later, I am at the mailbox cluster. A neighbor stops me. "You are the guy who took down Evelyn." I nod. She smiles. "Thank you. She made my life hell for 2 years." I tried to fight back, but I did not have the energy. I tell her I understand. She asks, "How did you do it?" I think for a moment. I kept records. I stayed calm. I did not let her bait me into doing something stupid. And I waited for her to make a mistake. She nods. Good advice. I walk back to my driveway. There is a car parked there, a guest. I check the windshield. Blue decal, properly displayed. I smile. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. The rules are still annoying. The HOA is still a pain. But at least now, the rules apply to everyone. Not just the people Evelyn decided to target. That evening, I get a text from Marcus. The board voted. New vice chair. Someone reasonable. I text back, "Good." He replies, "You should run next year." I laugh and type, "Not a chance." He sends a laughing emoji. I sit on my porch and watch the sun set over the neighborhood. It is quiet, peaceful, normal. The kind of quiet I moved here for. A mail carrier walks by, navigating around a recycling bin. No cones. No wheel lift blocking the lane. No amber strobe lights reflecting in puddles. Just a regular Tuesday evening. I wave. She waves back. I think about the last 6 months. The tow truck in my driveway. The stickers on my door. The threatening notes. The small claims suit. The hearing. The showdown. It was exhausting. But it was worth it. Because now, when I see a tow yard receipt in my mailbox, I know it is not a threat. It is just junk mail. I toss it in the recycling and go inside. My phone buzzes. Another email from the HOA. I open it. It is a reminder about the next board meeting. Open to all residents. I mark my calendar. Not because I want to run for office, but because I learned something. The only way to keep an HOA honest is to pay attention, to show up, to ask questions, to hold them accountable. The next week, I attend the meeting. It is quiet, boring even. Budget review, landscaping updates, no drama, no shouting. No megaphones. Greg, the president, sees me and nods. I nod back. At the end of the meeting, he makes an announcement. We have updated the parking enforcement policy. All tow authorizations now require dual board signatures and 24-hour notice to the homeowner. Violations of this policy will result in immediate removal and referral to law enforcement. The room is silent. Then someone claps. It spreads. Greg smiles. That is all. Meeting adjourned. I walk out into the parking lot. A tow truck is pulling in. My heart jumps for a second. Then, I see the driver. He is delivering a vehicle, not taking one. He waves at me. I wave back. I get in my car and drive home. The streets are quiet. The neighborhood looks normal. Safe. The kind of place I wanted to live. And for the first time it feels like it actually is. A few months later I run into Dana at the grocery store. She tells me the investigation is ongoing. The district attorney is building a case, Evelyn might face charges. I ask her how she is holding up. She shrugs. Better. The new management company is professional. No more kickbacks, no more schemes. Just normal HOA stuff. I tell her that is all anyone wanted. She laughs. You would think. I finish my shopping and head home. My guest is visiting again. Same car, same blue decal, no issues. I park next to her and we go inside. She thanks me again for helping her get her car back. I tell her it was the right thing to do. She says most people would not have fought that hard. I smile. Most people do not have a file cabinet full of evidence and a neighbor on the landscaping committee. That night I sit at my kitchen table and look at the settlement letter one more time. It is framed now. A reminder, not of the fight, but of the outcome. A reminder that even in a neighborhood where deadlines change depending on who is being targeted, the rules can still work if you know how to use them. And if you are willing to stand up when it matters. I put the frame back on the wall and turn off the light. Tomorrow is another day, another HOA meeting, another set of rules, but this time, I am ready. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you being here.